The evening light stretched across our kitchen, warm and calm, the kind of quiet moment you don't expect to break. Jessica stood at the counter, slicing vegetables with steady hands, like it was just another ordinary day. Then she spoke. Her voice didn't shake. It didn't hesitate. She said she wanted to change our marriage. At first, I thought I misunderstood. I asked her to repeat it. She didn't stop what she was doing. She simply explained that she had been thinking about it for a long time. To her, this wasn't emotional. It was practical. She said she needed more, and that she had already found someone. The room fell silent in a way that felt heavy. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I just asked who it was. That was the moment she finally looked at me. She gave me a name. Derek. But I already knew where this was going. I had seen enough, heard enough, to connect the dots. I asked her if she was talking about someone powerful. Someone who could offer her the kind of life she thought she deserved. She tried to deflect, but it was obvious. This wasn't about connection. It was about control. Then she gave me a choice. Accept it, or she would leave. I almost smiled at that. Not because it was funny, but because it was so clear what she was really offering. Accept betrayal or lose everything. She said she felt invisible. That her life had become routine. That I worked too much, that I didn't see her anymore. I listened. And then I told her something she wasn't expecting. Every part of our home had been secured for safety. Cameras, recordings, everything stored remotely. Not for spying. For protection. She froze. The realization hit her instantly. Every moment she thought was private, wasn't. She asked if I had been watching her. I told her the truth. She recorded herself. She just never thought I would notice. Her confidence cracked for the first time. She tried to speak, but the words didn't come out the same way anymore. I didn't argue further. I simply called upstairs and told my daughter to pack a bag. We were leaving for a few days. Jessica tried to stop me. Said it wasn't fair. Said I was twisting things. But I looked at her and said something I meant completely. What she had done wasn't a mistake. It was a decision. And now, I was making mine. The drive away from the house felt unreal. The city lights blurred past as we moved through the streets, the sky slowly fading into darkness. My daughter sat quietly beside me, holding her bag close, like it was the only thing keeping her grounded. She didn't ask anything at first. But I knew it was coming. Eventually, her voice broke the silence. She asked what was happening. I kept my tone steady. I told her we were going through something difficult, but none of it was her fault. She hesitated before asking if it was about her mother. That question hit harder than I expected. I told her it was about choices. About decisions that had consequences. I didn't give her everything. Not yet. She didn't need the full weight of it all at once. But she was smarter than I realized. She asked directly if her mother had been unfaithful. I paused. Then I told her the truth in the simplest way I could. There was someone else. But what mattered was that she was safe. That we were going to be okay. She looked out the window after that, quiet again, processing everything in her own way. When we reached the hotel, it felt like stepping into a different life. Temporary, uncertain, but necessary. That night, after she fell asleep, my phone rang. Jessica. I answered, knowing exactly what I would hear. She tried to take it back. Said she didn't mean what she said earlier. Claimed it was just a way to get my attention. A test. I didn't interrupt her. I just reminded her of what she had already admitted. Names, choices, ultimatums. That wasn't confusion. That was intention. She insisted there was no one else. That I was overreacting. But I told her something simple. I would check everything. Every recording. Every moment. And then I would know the truth for myself. The silence on the other end said more than her words ever could. Before ending the call, she said something that stayed with me. She never thought I would be the one to walk away. But she underestimated one thing. I wasn't walking away out of anger. I was walking away to protect what mattered most. Later that night, I finally opened the files. The screen lit up the dark room, casting a cold glow across everything. Rows of recordings, each one a piece of time captured without emotion. I selected one at random. What I saw confirmed everything. Jessica was there, moving through the house casually, checking her phone, glancing at the door. Then someone arrived. Not just anyone. A man I recognized instantly. Someone with influence, someone whose name carried weight beyond our personal lives. They greeted each other like it wasn't new. Like it had been happening for a while. Comfortable. Familiar. Too familiar. I watched longer than I should have. Every second made it clearer. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't confusion. It was a pattern. What hit me hardest wasn't even the betrayal. It was where it happened. Our home. The same place our daughter lived, laughed, and trusted to be safe. That was the moment everything shifted for me. This wasn't just about a broken relationship anymore. It was about responsibility. Days later, I stood in a courtroom. The air felt heavy, controlled, nothing like the chaos that had led us there. Jessica sat across from me, composed on the surface, but something in her expression had changed. When the judge asked why I was there, I answered clearly. To protect my daughter. Evidence was presented. Carefully, calmly, without emotion. The truth spoke for itself. Jessica tried to explain it away. Called it a personal mistake. Something private. But it wasn't private anymore. Not when it risked someone else's well-being. The room grew quiet as everything settled into place. And in that silence, the outcome became inevitable. After everything, life didn't go back to normal. It changed. But not in the way I feared. The apartment we moved into became more than just a temporary space. It became a place where things felt real again. Honest. Calm. My daughter adapted faster than I expected. She found her rhythm again, her routines, her sense of balance. We talked more. Not just about what happened, but about everything else. School, music, small everyday things that reminded us life was still moving forward. Jessica faded into the background for a while. Not completely gone, but no longer in control of the narrative she once tried to shape. When she did return, it was different. No confidence. No performance. Just someone facing the consequences of her own choices. One evening, she came to see our daughter. There was no argument, no scene. Just a quiet conversation that said more than any shouting ever could. My daughter saw through it. She understood more than anyone expected. And in that moment, I realized something important. Strength doesn't always come from confrontation. Sometimes, it comes from staying steady when everything around you falls apart. Looking back, I don't think this story was about revenge. It was about clarity. About choosing truth over comfort. About protecting the people who depend on you, even when it costs you everything else. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. You don't always get to control what happens to you. But you always get to decide how you respond. And sometimes, that makes all the difference.